Hello everyone. Welcome back to Station Stop, Rest and Breathe. And as always, today we are going to take a moment to pause from the stories happening in society and look beyond the headlines we see on our screens. Because sometimes, when we look at something only on the surface, it may seem like a small matter. Some people might say, they were just teenagers being loud. It was just an argument on public transportation. Someone simply asked them to be quieter. And the other side became upset. Why did it have to become such a big deal? But sometimes, what makes an incident become something much bigger is not how big the original event was. It is what happens afterward. And that is what makes so many people feel that this is no longer just about noise. It is no longer simply about teenagers being excited and immature. And it is no longer simply about a group of foreign students who may not yet understand the culture of the country they are visiting. Instead, it becomes a much bigger question. A question about this. When we travel to another country, how much right do we believe we have to use our status as tourists? The money we bring and spend, the number of people in our group, or our confidence in being ourselves, to make another person feel that I have more rights than you? And if we are adults, if we are teachers, if we are responsible for a group of young people, what is our responsibility when the children under our care are causing trouble for other people, are making people in the host country feel that they are being disrespected? These are the questions that bring us here today. Because today, we are not going to say only a group of Italian students were loud on the BTS Skytrain. Instead, we are going to slowly examine how one seemingly small incident can reveal so much about human behavior. And we also need to speak carefully, because criticizing the behavior of one group of people should never become a reason to stereotype an entire nation. Not all Italians behave the same way. And Thai people do not all behave the same way either. Every country has kind people, unkind people, polite people, rude people, responsible people, and irresponsible people. So what we are discussing today is the behavior that occurred in one particular incident, and what that behavior may reflect. We are not making a judgment about all Italians. Instead, we are asking a much more important question. How should one human being treat another human being when sharing a public space? And how should we behave when we travel to someone else's country? The story began during the evening of July 23, 2026, on the BTS Skytrain in Bangkok. A group of Italian students or young people were traveling in Thailand. As part of a tourism or cultural exchange program, they were young people. They were at an age when they were still learning about the world, an age when they were traveling, an age when they should have the opportunity to see how people in other countries live, how different cultures work, how people think, and how people live together. But at one point during the journey, the group's conversations and laughter became loud enough that one passenger felt disturbed. A Thai woman therefore approached them and asked them to be quieter. Based on the information that was publicly reported, she did not begin by insulting them. She did not walk over looking for a fight. She did not say, "You are foreigners. Why do you have no manners?" She did not say, "Go back to your own country." She was simply trying to ask them to lower their voices, because other passengers were also on the train. And this was a public space. This is where we need to pause for a moment. Because when someone asks us to lower our voice, it does not automatically mean that they are insulting us. It does not mean that they hate our nationality. It does not mean that they are trying to assert power over us. Sometimes, a person is simply saying, "Your behavior is affecting me." And in a society where human beings have to live together, that is completely normal. If we walk into a restaurant, and someone is playing something loudly on their phone, we might ask them to lower the volume. If we are in a library, and someone is shouting while talking, we might say, "Excuse me, could you please speak a little more quietly?" If we are on an airplane, and a small child is crying, we may understand, because a small child may not yet be able to control themselves. But if a group of teenagers is talking together, and their voices are disturbing other people, being asked to lower their voices is not an attack on their identity. It is simply a request for cooperation, and in many situations, the simplest response would be, "Okay, sorry," and then we lower our voices, and the matter ends there. But this incident did not end that way, because after being asked to be quieter, there was a response. There were allegedly rude remarks. There was laughter and mockery. There was filming in return. There were gestures that appeared provocative, and there was one particular statement that became a key part of the incident. The statement was, "Sorry for bringing money to your country." And the moment those words were spoken, the situation changed. It was no longer simply about noise. It became a matter of dignity. It was no longer simply about manners. It became a question about the relationship between one person who believed, "I am spending money in your country," and another person who actually lives in that country. Those words immediately raised an important question. Does bringing money into a country as a tourist give someone greater rights than the people who live there? Of course, tourists contribute to the economy. Tourists spend money on hotels, restaurants, shops, transportation, tourist attractions, and various services. But spending money is an exchange. It is not buying a country. A person who buys a meal does not buy the right to insult the restaurant staff. A person who pays for a hotel room does not buy the right to destroy the room. A person who buys a train ticket does not buy the right to disturb other passengers. And a person who spends money in Thailand does not buy the right to tell Thai people, "I am more valuable than you because I bring money to your country." Money can buy products. Money can buy services. Money can buy travel experiences. But money should never become a license for one human being to look down on another. And this is a very important point, because in today's world, international travel has become easier. People can board an airplane, cross continents, and live temporarily in countries with different languages, different food, different religions, different ways of thinking, and different laws. But one thing should be the same everywhere: respect for the humanity of other people. We may not like the food in another country. We may not understand the language. We may not agree with the way people live. We may believe that certain rules are too strict, but we do not have the right to use those differences as an excuse to disrespect other people. Let's imagine something. If Thai people traveled to Italy and boarded a train, talking loudly, laughing, shouting, and disturbing other passengers, and an Italian person came over and said, "Could you please lower your voices?" What would happen? If the Thai people responded, "But I am spending money in your country," how would the Italian person feel? Or imagine that the Thai people said, "Sorry for bringing money to your country," and then laughed, made an obscene gesture, insulted someone's family, and filmed them mockingly. Would the Italian people say, "That's okay, you are Thai tourists"? Of course not. We all know the answer. If the same thing happened in any country, the people living in that country would have the right to feel offended, because a public space does not belong to one particular group of people. It is a space where everyone has to live together. And when we live together, the question should not be, "I am who I am, so I can do whatever I want." The question should be, "Is what I am doing affecting other people?" That is the foundation of living together in society. It is not only about Thailand. It is not only about Italy. It is not only about Europe. And it is not only about Asia. It is about every human being. However, what makes this incident particularly interesting is the behavior of a group of people when they are confronted. We might imagine that, if one young person is asked to be quieter, they might say, "Okay, Or, I'm sorry, but when many people are together, human behavior can change. A person who is alone may not dare to use rude language, but when surrounded by friends, they may feel more confident, because the laughter and support of the group make them feel protected. A person who is alone may not dare to film someone who is clearly uncomfortable, but when a friend begins filming, they may join in. A person who is alone may not dare to make provocative gestures, but when everyone around them is laughing, they may think, go ahead, nothing is going to happen. And this is one of the things we see in human behavior within groups. Sometimes, people do not do what they personally believe is right. They do what the group is doing, because they do not want to be the only person who is different. If everyone laughs, we laugh. If everyone insults someone, we insult them too. If everyone films, we film as well. If everyone says, just ignore it, we ignore it. But here is the question. If everyone is doing something wrong, does following the group make us less responsible? No. The number of people does not make wrongdoing disappear. If one person causes trouble for someone else, it may be one person's problem. But if 10 people come together and help each other laugh, pressure, and insult another person, that does not make the behavior better. In fact, it may make the person being targeted feel as though an entire group is turning against them. And this is why the incident cannot simply be reduced to a story about noise. Because when one person was asked to be quieter, and a large group turned around to respond, the situation had already changed. Another issue we need to talk about is recording. In an age when almost everyone carries a mobile phone, human behavior no longer ends when the incident itself ends, because almost everything can be recorded. In the past, if a group of tourists behaved inappropriately on public transportation, the incident might have ended when they stepped off the train. The passengers who were upset might have gone home, told their families what happened, and the story might have ended there. But today, a mobile phone can allow one incident to travel across international borders. Within just a few hours, there may have been only a small number of people inside that train carriage. But once the video is shared, hundreds of thousands, or even millions of people, may see it. And when there are images, voices, words, and behavior, society can look back and see who said what, who did what, who laughed, who provoked, who tried to stop the situation, who tried to apologize, and who chose to do nothing. This is something people in the modern world need to understand. We can no longer live as if nobody can see us. Of course, recording a video should never become an excuse to harass another person. It should not become an excuse for a witch hunt. It should not become a tool for threats. And it should never become a reason to attack people who were not involved. But on the other hand, recording an incident that is happening to us, especially when we are being threatened or mistreated, can also become important evidence. Because without video, an incident may simply become one person's word against another's. One person says, I was attacked. The other person says, that is not true. But when there is video and sound, people can see what happened for themselves. And this is why so many people feel that this incident should not be reduced to, it's just a group of kids arguing. Because what happened was recorded, and many people were able to see it with their own eyes. But there is another issue we need to be careful about. When many Thai people become angry, that anger is understandable. Many people felt that one woman was being pressured by a large group of people, and the issue of money appeared to be used in a way that felt insulting. But even justified anger must not turn into doing the same thing in return. If we criticize one group of people by saying, you should not stereotype Thai people, then we should not stereotype all Italians. If we say, you should not insult Thai people, then we should not insult all Italians. If we say, you should respect human dignity, then we must also respect the humanity of the people we are criticizing. This is not about defending inappropriate behavior. It is about remaining faithful to our own principles, because demanding justice should not require us to abandon justice, and demanding that other people show manners should not turn us into people without manners ourselves. However, what may be even more important to consider is that this was connected to a program involving learning, travel, cultural exchange, broadening one's worldview, and getting to know another country. When we hear the words cultural exchange, we often imagine something beautiful. Students from one country travel to another. They visit important places. They learn history. They try new food. They meet people. They take photographs. They talk. And they return home with new experiences. But what does cultural exchange actually mean? Does it mean that we bring our own culture to another country, and the people there must accept everything about us? No. Cultural exchange should mean this: I bring who I am, so that you can get to know me, and I am also willing to learn who you are. I may not like everything that you like, but I will try to understand. I may not agree with everything in your country, but I will not insult you simply because you are different from me. I may believe that my way of life is better, but I will not use that belief as an excuse to make you feel inferior, because if we travel to another country, but never make any effort to learn how people in that country live together, then why are we traveling there? Are we traveling only so that other people can learn about us? If so, that is not cultural exchange. That is simply taking ourselves to a new place, while still believing that everyone else must live according to our standards. And this is where many Thai people feel hurt. Not because foreigners come to visit Thailand. Many Thai people are happy to welcome tourists. They are happy for people from around the world to come and see Thailand, experience the food, the nature, the culture, the smiles, the people, and the lives of Thai citizens. Most Thai people do not expect foreigners to behave exactly like Thai people. No one expects European tourists to speak fluent Thai. No one expects foreigners to know every Thai tradition. No one expects everyone to behave exactly like Thai people. But what many Thai people do expect is something that every country should be able to expect from visitors, and that is respect. You do not need to be Thai to understand that insulting another person's family is inappropriate. You do not need to study Thailand for years to understand that laughing at someone who is asking for cooperation is not good behavior. You do not need to know every aspect of Thai culture to understand that using your money to look down on another person is wrong, because some things are not really about culture, they are about basic respect. And this brings us to another question. If someone says, "In my country, this is normal," how should we respond? Perhaps the answer is, I understand that your culture is different, but understanding does not mean that I have to accept every behavior, and the fact that you are unfamiliar with my culture does not mean that you have the right to insult it. This is the difference between accepting differences and allowing differences to become an excuse to hurt other people. We should not say, everyone must be the same, but we also should not say, I am different, so I can do whatever I want. A society that can live together needs both differences and responsibility. When we look more deeply into this incident, we may discover that the most important question is not simply, why were these young people so loud? The more important question may be, when they were asked to be quieter, why did they choose to respond in that way? And there is another question. When the situation began to escalate, what did the adults who were present do? Because teenagers may still be learning. They may still be experiencing emotional ups and downs. They may still be learning how to control themselves. But adults, especially adults traveling with young people, as their supervisors, should be able to recognize a situation more quickly than the young people themselves. They should be the ones to say, "That's enough." They should be the ones to say, "We are in someone else's country." They should be the ones to say, "We are disturbing other people." They should be the ones to teach. When someone corrects us, we should listen, and they should be the ones to help young people understand that admitting we are wrong does not mean we have lost. Saying, "I'm sorry," does not make us inferior, and lowering our voices does not mean that we have lost our dignity. But what happened in this incident has led society to ask, at the moment when an adult should have stepped in to stop the situation, what were the adults doing? This will become a very important issue, and we will continue discussing it in episode 2. Because the word teacher should not simply be a title for someone traveling with students. It should represent responsibility. Before we end the first episode, let us return to the original question one more time. It was just noise. So why did it become such a big deal? The answer is this. If the incident had ended with someone saying, "Could you please lower your voices?" and the other side responding, "Okay, sorry," then this story would probably never have become news. No one would have been angry. No one would have needed to issue a statement. No one would have needed to apologize. No one would have questioned the teachers. No one would have had to talk about the dignity of Thai people. And no one would have needed to talk about money. What turned a small incident into a major one was the response to being corrected. The words that were used, the gestures that were made, the laughter, the pressure placed on one individual, and the belief that, "I have money, I am a tourist, therefore I have more rights than you." And this is the most important lesson from the first episode. We may travel to another country with a great deal of money. We may come from a wealthier country. We may hold a passport that allows us to travel more easily. We may speak English better. We may come from a country that the world considers highly developed. But none of these things make us more valuable as human beings. And the people who live in the country we visit are not worth less than us, simply because they are not tourists, simply because they are not holding our money, simply because they are not in our country. On this planet, we may be someone else's guest today, and tomorrow, someone else may be our guest. So the things we want to receive from others should be the same things we are willing to give to others. If we want foreigners to respect Thai people, then we must respect foreigners. If we want foreigners not to stereotype Thai people, then we must not stereotype foreigners. And if we want foreigners to learn about Thai culture, then we must also accept that other cultures may be different from ours. But accepting differences does not mean accepting insults. And opening our homes to welcome visitors does not mean that the host must allow a guest to attack their dignity. We will stop here for today, because in the next episode, we will go deeper into the questions surrounding teachers, adults, the responsibility to educate young people, and the failure of cultural exchange. The question is, if young people do something wrong, what responsibility do the adults around them have? What does the word teacher really mean? Is a teacher's responsibility simply to take students on a trip? Or is it also to teach them how to live together with other people? If a journey is described as cultural exchange, but the young people who travel never learn about the culture of the host country, and instead end up insulting the people who live there, can we still call that education? And if adults see young people doing something wrong, but do not correct them, do not stop them, or simply allow the situation to continue, who should bear that responsibility? These are the questions we will continue exploring in episode 2 of this podcast. From loud voices on public transportation to a much bigger question. Is a teacher's responsibility simply to take young people out into the world? Or is it also to teach them how to live together with the world? For today, thank you for stopping by and taking a moment to rest with us at Station Stop. Rest and breathe. Until we meet again in the next episode. Because sometimes, what we see in the news is not there simply to make us choose a side. Sometimes, it is there to make us stop and think, if it were us, what would we choose to do? Note for the next episode. Episode 2 will expand on the themes of teachers, adults, the education of young people, and the failure of cultural exchange. It will not conclude that all teachers or all Italians behave in the same way. Instead, it will analyze the specific duties and responsibilities of adults within the context of this particular incident. The discussion will clearly distinguish between what appears in the video, what has been reported in the news, and what remains an assumption that has not yet been independently confirmed. Thank you so much for joining us, and for your continued support. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And if you have any questions, suggestions, or thoughts about today's topic, we would love to hear from you. Please feel free to leave a comment below. Your feedback and perspectives are incredibly valuable to us. We will continue listening, learning, and using your suggestions to improve our content and make each episode better. You're listening to Choice Defines You, where every choice tells a story. Thank you for being with us. Until next time.